Hello, and welcome to The Fool and the Philosopher.
The Philosopher and the Fool.
So, Aquaman.
Aquaman, okay.
Just get right into it. He, the newest one.
Yeah.
I don't know the actor's name, I forgot. But...
The guy with the long hair, it's black.
Yeah, black hair.
Black hair, bearded. He seems to laugh a lot.
Black hair. It's not right. Right? So,
Yeah.
Wait, maybe it is right. This is what I want to talk about.
All right.
So, latest Aquaman has black hair, but Aquaman has blonde hair.
Yeah.
Alright, James Bond. He's got blonde hair, but James Bond has black hair. Right?
Yeah.
I had one more. Can't remember. Your computer isn't... Oh, is it plugged in on the back?
Yes.
Okay. So, Aquaman, blonde hair.
Yeah.
How do you... Like, I was talking to a friend about this.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that sort of thing? Like, what's your... Like...
Well, it depends if it's a important part of their character. Like, let's say you come out with a Stormlight Archives movie, right?
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, you decide to have Kaladin having bright blue eyes from the get-go.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So, like, something like that, you can't do that.
Right.
Because that's a part of the story. You would be very much changing the story.
Well, what you could do, I guess, is switch the story so that dark eyes are the nobles and light eyes are the... But you'd still have to... You'd have to adjust for it and be a bit silly.
Yeah.
But if you got, like, an amazing actor... Mm-hmm. But then you'd have to change their eye color anyway, so... Like, it doesn't...
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have to
so it'd be a bit silly to not do it properly.
Yeah. Well, like, again, I'm not sure how I feel about it entirely. I think it kind of annoys me sometimes. Like, with Starfire, her hair looked hideous in, like, the Teen Titans thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I really didn't like her hair. It was just sort of this, like, weird, sort of gross, purpley waving thing.
Yeah.
And her hair, like, she's meant to be glowing and stuff, and her eyes are meant to be bright green all the time. She's like an alien, and it's like, okay, you didn't put any effort or special effects into that. And then Beast Boy, it's like, oh, he just has green hair. Like, Beast Boy has green skin as well. Or even, like, Raven is like, oh, she only goes all creepy and dark when she uses her magic. But she's, like, got this pale marble skin and meant to have, like, soulless eyes. And they just didn't put any effort, I feel, into the costumes of the Titans. And that kind of upset me. Like, you can put effort to a certain point. And maybe you want to do a character redesign. So with Aquaman, like, the long hair, like... I don't know, it's sort of like a change of expectation almost. Like, he's not like the ha-ha giant chin sort of hero. He's more of like the rowdy hooligan.
So my thought is sort of like what you were saying. It has to be, like, the plot still has to work. Mm-hmm. But I also think there's more than the plot. Like, I think the character still has to work. For example, I think James Bond, like, James Bond, he's always had black hair, but Daniel Craig is blonde, and they didn't give him a wig or dye his hair or anything. Yeah. But James Bond has never... Like, there's no rule that says James Bond isn't blonde.
Yeah.
So, I guess, like, there's no... I don't know if there's, like... Because James Bond's appearance changes so much, I don't know if there's, like, a... That guy looks like James Bond. Like, I don't think that's a thing. But I think Aquaman does have a very set look. So if someone doesn't know about the new movie, and they see the new Aquaman, and they look at him, they'll be like, who's that, Ocean Master or something? Like, is he dressed up in his... So I don't think he actually represents the character.
Ah, so they have to be recognizable.
Yeah, like, I don't think James Bond has a look, because it's been, like, all the guys have had black hair, but that doesn't mean that James Bond has black hair.
James Bond's more of a suit than a guy.
Yeah, James Bond's more about the suit.
Yeah.
Or, like,
and the personality. He's a unflappable British agent.
And he like, the fitness and the... Yeah. So that's more James Bond. But, so I was thinking, like, let's say Harry Potter, you took away his glasses. Mm-hmm. You could do that, I think, but then you'd have to take away his father's glasses, because you'd have to take away the moments where Hermione repairs his glasses. You'd have to take away the moment where Hermione casts a spell of, like, repelling on it. You have to take away the moments where he can see and his vision isn't blurry when he's in Voldemort's head. You have to take away... So you could do it, but it'd be a lot of work to, like, shift it.
And even then, it takes away recognition of Harry Potter. When I was in Japan, I had sort of long, messy black hair and... decent-sized glasses, and people would call me Harry Potter. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, like, Harry Potter is very popular in Japan at that time. So like, oh, it's Harry Potter.
So, like I mostly have short blonde hair and then sometimes it's long.
Yeah.
But I've had people like all through elementary school call me Harry Potter. Yeah. And all I had was glasses. Like that's the only thing that makes me look like Harry Potter in the slightest is glasses.
Yeah, exactly.
And so like his glasses are super iconic actually. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they were originally. So if like they had Daniel Craig not wear glasses, then I think it could have worked, but they would have had to change so much of the story.
Yeah.
Like, well, but they wouldn't really have to, but because the movies never used those parts, but the books did, and they were pretty, like, they happened. They weren't major parts, but they're all, like, tiny little character building things.
Yeah.
And so I think this is only for movies as well. Mm-hmm. Like, in theater, I think, like, anyone can be anyone.
You've gotten what you've gotten.
You get the best actor you can for the role, and, like, everyone has to make believe. Yeah. Like, the audience, like, you could have a bald person play Rapunzel, as long as all the actors say, what long hair you have. And,
or even they just have a over-the-top wig.
Yeah.
Like, there's a play that I saw, and all of the men in it, like, it's meant to be a bunch of young, charming men to play all the roles.
Yeah.
And all the roles were played by older guys who are all bald. Yeah. And so they were wearing the most over-the-top wigs, and, like, all of them were supposed to be, like, these really handsome men. One of them's meant to be, like, this romantic sort of, like, charms all the ladies. And it's this really old bald guy. He's very energetic, but he just had this most ridiculous wig, and it's just, like, you know them from, like, the acting community, and so it's really funny that all these old dudes who are bald are wearing these wigs, and like, oh, they've got nice hair.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think, like, theater, you can have anyone play any role, and everyone just has to pretend. But you have to have the words show. Like, you could have, like, a bald person with a bit of, like, red stubble and be like, and like this, like this bald man with a bit of red stubble on his head. Yeah. And you can be like, beautiful golden-haired maiden with your long... Like, you can do that in theater. Yeah. You just have to say it a few times so it gets, like... So the audience can play pretend. In movies... Because my friend and I were talking about this, and we hadn't come up... We're like, what do you think of this? Like, are you for it or against it? And both of us were like, I don't know. But I was thinking about it more and more, and I was like, I think it has to be, like... If the character... If it's iconic to the character, or even... It doesn't even have to be iconic. It just has to be, like, doesn't change the story. Mm-hmm. For example, Lord Glove in my own story. Mm-hmm. He's blonde and no one else is. And if someone made a movie of it, if they made him not blonde, it would be okay as long as everyone else still had a different hair color from him, I think. Yeah. Because he's meant to be different from everyone else.
He's meant to be standoutish.
Yeah. Like, even, it's not even, his hair color doesn't matter. Yeah. It's not to show that he's, like, like, northern, or that he's, like, aloof, or, like, he's angelic because he's closer to, like, golden hair has that sort of, like, church connotation sort of a thing, almost. Yeah. Maybe not church, but you know what I mean, like, holy. But it's, and I didn't even put it in on purpose. That, like, it's just looking back, that little details matter. Like, Ron is, like, this fiery-headed sort of guy, and he's red hair in Harry Potter. And Lord Glove is different from everyone else, and he has pale skin and blonde hair, where everyone else has...
He's meant to stand out.
Yeah.
He's a little different.
And then some details which don't seem like they mean anything, like I has really long hair. Like, that I is a character in it. Yeah. She has really long hair, which is weird. Like, you wouldn't think, like, if you're making a movie that would matter. Like, just give someone, like... But it matters to the lore of the universe, which I haven't explained, and I might never explain, but it matters to that. So, I don't know there. It's a bit weird there, because it would take away from the character, but you could... And also, like, her having dark hair is kind of... Because she's a reserved person, it can cover her face, she can hide behind it, she's quite shy, sort of thing.
Well, my feeling on that is basically makeup departments are in movies for a reason, and unless you don't have a very good budget...
Yeah, it's weird that they don't, like...
Yeah, no, like, that, honestly, like, a bunch of people were talking about, like, oh, you're mad because Starfire is, like, played by a black woman, and a bunch of other people are going, like...
Isn't her skin orange?
Starfire has orange skin!
Yeah.
Like, put some work into the makeup department and give her orange skin. We don't care about
TV shows tend not to have that much money, though, I guess.
I know, but still, it's just, like, sometimes it's, like... No, she just doesn't look like the character. Starfire has orange skin,
like if
glowing green eyes, and a huge head of pink hair.
Like, if I saw a collection of random characters plus the superheroes, I haven't seen this Teen Titans thing, but I imagine I'd be like, who is who?
Like, Beast Boy's the guy with bright green hair. That's the only thing they did to him, was give him bright green hair and green eyes.
I mean, I could sort of be like, okay, that's probably Beast Boy, but I wouldn't be like, yeah, that's Beast Boy. I'd be like, oh, I guess that one. It's like, when people...
Like, Robin's pretty easy to pick out, but...
I've never seen this, but people draw these things like this, and this is just off the top of my head one. Like, if all the Land Before Time characters were humans.
Yeah.
And so then you look at the picture and you see someone with like red hair who looks kind of squat, and you're like, oh, that's Sarah.
Yeah.
And you see like this small like guy with like probably like a long nose and like
skinny
like,
baggy clothes.
Yeah, and he's got like yellow hair probably or brown hair, like light brown hair, and you'd be like, oh, that's Petrie.
Yeah.
And so
and Spike would be like a sort of short, dumpy kid with a baseball cap turned backwards.
Yeah, maybe like
he'd like
be carrying around like a baseball bat as well or something. And so you could sort of like...
you just see like a kind of happy sort of grin on his face.
So you can sort of like see, you can be like, oh yeah, that's that. But sometimes you'd be like, who's that? And then a friend will be like, oh, that's obviously Littlefoot. And you're like, oh yeah. And that sounds kind of like what those characters are. It's like, I would be like some person with green hair. And then I guess that could be Beast Boy, yeah. But it's not like, hey, it's Beast Boy.
Well, but then you go to like the Flash TV series, right?
Yeah.
Another DC thing, and they give people their costumes and like makeup. Like they put a lot of work into that.
And you look at like Aquaman, like what? How would you describe Aquaman? He's got an orange suit, green gloves, blonde hair,
green leggings, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, blonde hair, giant chin.
Yeah, like. And like Superman, black hair, blue eyes, like
Aquaman doesn't always have a beard,
blue
but
outfit,
still,
red cape,
got the yellow,
Batman, it's got like the cowl and the black
and dark hair when you can see his hair.
Like Batman's definitely a bit more, like there's not much to him, but but there's definitely recognizable stuff, and I think when you take it away, it can be an issue. Now this is where on the other side, I'm a little like, and this is why I think there is room for like variance, a little bit. But I think it has to. You can't take away something important from the character.
Yeah.
So like Aquaman, I think his blonde hair is actually important. That might be debate. Everything's debatable.
Yeah.
But I do think it is important. Deadshot, the latest Deadshot was Will Smith.
Yeah.
And I think he did a phenomenal job.
Yep.
And when I saw an animation afterwards, I was like, why does Deadshot look so weird? Because Will Smith is like Deadshot to me. Even though like Will Smith is black and the normal Deadshot's white, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that matters. Like he's mostly covered up 100%
Deadshot wears his costume most of the time.
But also Deadshot, I don't think any part of his... Like Deadshot's character... Like maybe if you're much deeper into the DC lore, you know it. But to me, Deadshot's character is... He's like a psychopath who loves his daughter and he's... only does stuff for money, nothing else. Yeah. He doesn't do revenge or anything like that.
Yeah, and
the only person he cares about is his daughter.
And he doesn't kill kids.
Yeah, and you can look like anything as long as you have those traits. Like Deadshot's looks don't matter because it's not like Superman where Superman's meant to look like all American or something. But although like I don't know if he does exactly. Superman you could probably change his looks honestly. Except that. The image of Superman, the black hair and the coil, like that's Superman. Without it, it's not Superman. And so there's
even just black hair, blue eyes.
Yeah,
like that sort of thing. There's another interesting thing like changing the plot. Very far thing. I don't know what they're going to do about it. Like a major part of the Artemis Fowl plot is Holly's like the only woman in recon.
Yeah.
And in the movies that are coming out, Commander Root is being played by Dame Judi Gent. Which, I mean, it's a great role for her. Like, that works.
I'm just like, oh, that's kind of awesome, except for, like...
It changes the plot.
Yeah. Like, but Judi Dench is awesome.
Yeah, and no, I'm like, I've seen the trailer, and she looks like Commander Root. Yeah. Like, she's, like, short, has the short hair, and she can get very red in the face.
Like, a character like Root is, like, perfect for her. Except, Root's like a guy, and...
Yeah, well, it's not even Root's a guy. Like, that doesn't matter. It's... Holly's a girl is what matters, and she's the only girl, and that's a huge part of the plot. It's like, you have to do this mission so people don't upset with you. Oh, you messed up. This is the one person the council thinks, oh, we don't actually need this person. They're a screw-up, and so...
Yeah, you have to be careful which details you think are unimportant.
Yeah.
And it's like, you almost never want to actually mess with them, because they might be important for some reason that's hard to, like, put into words.
Yeah.
Like, well, like Lord Glove having the blonde hair. Like, I think you could do Lord Glove with black hair as long as everyone else was blonde. Mm-hmm. Like, you could actually, like, make...
You could even just give him green hair.
Yeah. You could make everyone, like, Nordic sort of looking. Like, everyone's, like, pale skin and blonde. As long as Lord Glove had dark skin and, like, dark hair. Yeah. Like, he's just meant to be kind of the opposite of everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so it's like this weird thing. It's like, what are you going to do with the plot now to make Holly this trouble case that people aren't sure about? Because she's also a symbol. Like, it's like, oh, women can be in the police force of the fairies.
Well, that plot only lasted for like 2 or so books, I think. So
it lasted for 2 books, but still, it was definitely a point, like a part of the story.
So they could just get rid of that subplot, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just curious how they'll replace it, because a part of Holly's character is she wants to prove herself.
Yeah.
Like, she's trying really, really hard to show that she's good.
Another aspect is Root was kind of a father figure to her. So you're sort of taking that away. Like, there's a lot of little things that you might be getting rid of by accident.
I think it's a great role for Dame Judy. Like, there's a point in time where it's also like, this just really works for this actor.
Yeah. Yeah, the moment you said it, I was just kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, like, it just works for that actor.
Yeah. It'd be like if, who do they have for Butler?
Butler, he is huge though. Like, he's not super big, but he's pretty big. And it works I think it'll work. Yeah. It's like, it's a bunch of, like, the only really proven actor, I think, is the actor for Commander Root.
Right. And, yeah.
There's a few other actors that still...
You know who'd be actually good for Artemis? The kid that was in...
It's some new kid acting.
But the kid that was for Series of Unfortunate Events.
Oh.
I
think he's a little too old.
He might be a little old, but he would be good. Like, he's British as well, so...
Yeah. It's an Irish actor.
Yeah, but it's all the same. Yeah. Ireland, British... No.
Yeah. Another... Well, interesting thing I've heard is about Geralt. Like, the TV series come out with Geralt, and the actor for...
Leave me alone, IRA. You're different. You're very different.
What?
Ireland and Britain are very different. Oh, Leave me alone, IRA.
Oh, yes. But the actor for Geralt, who played Superman...
Yeah.
And people are like, it's just Superman with a wig. Like, that's what people are saying.
Yeah, actually, I thought it doesn't work for me. Like, I don't know why, but he doesn't look like Geralt.
I think the problem is that guy doesn't look grizzled.
Yeah.
Like, Geralt looks grizzled, haggard by time.
Yeah.
And he just...
Henry Cavill is just...
Henry Cavill's an
amazing Superman.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he, like, works for Geralt.
Well, I think he does in some ways, though. Like, have you heard about him preparing for the role?
No.
So apparently he's beaten The Witcher 6 times now. Yeah. And, like, all the missions, like, he's really trying to get into the character.
Well, I thought he, like, loved The Witcher and he asked to be in the...
Yeah, he loved The Witcher. He asked to be the actor. And they're like, whoa, this is, like, a big-name actor. We'll take you. And, like, he's read all the books. He's, like, played all the games, so...
Yeah, but at the same time...
Maybe if, like, they, like, touch it up, like, maybe...
Like, we know a guy that without any makeup looks like a better Geralt than Henry Cavill in all his makeup.
Yeah. Yeah, but, like, maybe touch up his eyes, like, give him the orange eyes, like, maybe add the scarring with makeup. Yeah. Like, they probably haven't, like...
I've seen pictures of him, like, for the trailer, the posters and stuff, and it just doesn't look...
Yeah, it's just, like, do more makeup work, basically.
I don't know if... It might not be possible.
They give him an un-CG mustache.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just give him cut his mustache off and give him a fake one?
I was actually, the same friend I was talking to was saying they did that on purpose. Sounds like the one studio that was making Mission Impossible did it as a way to sort of one up the other studio. Like, he's got a contract with us, he can't do it. Yeah. Sort of a thing.
Yeah, I actually had a mess up like that. I didn't realize it. In, like, one of the few places in Peer Gynt, when we were taking pictures of all the actors, which you're meant to do beforehand, the picture that was taken of me, I had longish hair. And then I got a haircut, which apparently is a big no-no in the acting world.
To cut your hair?
No, if you get a picture of your hair a certain length, changing your hairstyle after that, after, like, your card, like, who you are or stuff, is a big no-no.
Right.
Yeah. And I didn't know that, and
they worked for Riker.
They were okay with me as a kid.
Yeah.
But still, you're not meant to do it. Well, Riker, he, like, came into the beard and then he got rid of it.
One character that I think is a really weird one, and it's probably just because I haven't read the books, but the Dark Tower movie had Idris Elba as, what's his name?
Arthur?
No.
Roland.
Roland.
Yeah.
And I think Idris Elba's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
He did a great job, and the movie seemed fine to me. Like, I thought the movie was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think it was amazing, but it was good. But apparently, it's basically not the books at all. Yeah. Like, it tries to compress everything into a single movie.
I was talking...
And there's a major subplot of a black woman hating Roland because he's white.
Yeah.
And if they make Roland black, well, they could switch it. Like, they could have a white woman do it. And I don't know how important that is or anything.
Well, it's more than just a subplot. Like, it's major contention throughout several books.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend about that, and he's like, basically, yeah, like, if you change Roland like that, then it could cause problems if you did every single book as its own individual movie and, like, try to stick to the plot.
Yeah.
But because from what sounds of it, you've described it, they just skipped over so much of the main plot of the story.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's basically a different movie, I think.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't matter at that point. It's more like a trailer to the books, like...
Yeah.
Is anyone listening to the film Philosopher?
I keep hearing stuff about this series, and I like simultaneously kind of want to read it, and at the same time it sounds really boring for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But I've heard people say it's amazing, and it's on like all the top lists of greatest fantasy books ever and this stuff. But something about like real world fantasy mixing I don't like for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I think Beyonders might be my favorite of books that do that.
Or Dresden?
Dresden Files is urban fantasy, which I think is different
Than fantasy mixing?
Yeah.
Like a secret world, like falling between the train tracks?
Yeah. Like in a Neverwhere that he does.
What about Harry Potter?
I guess Harry Potter...
Oh, Harry Potter people are aware of it, actually. Like in London, like they're sort of aware of it.
To a certain degree. I don't know how...
Like they just kind of want to ignore it. It's like the Ministry of Secrets and...
Yeah. I think Harry Potter spends so little time in the real world that it's... Yeah. I mean, it does spend a decent amount of time, but yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it's more people just don't want to know about us, that sort of...
Yeah, but
thing going on, but it never talks about it.
Yeah.
She sort of just ignores that fact, which is an interesting thing I've been thinking about with stories, which is there's a lot of authors I've read want to explain every detail.
Yeah.
Or say like, oh, this is this because of this, or like not even like do a ton of exposition.
Yeah.
But they want to have coherent reasoning.
Yeah.
Whereas Harry Potter, I mean, maybe it's just like when she wrote it, she wasn't thinking like that or whatever, but still, it's like, yeah, we're just going to ignore that. Like, why does magic work the way it does? I don't care. Why does this do
that? Is actually a major plot point.
Mm-hmm.
So here's one. Like, why don't wizards just teleport around casting Advada Kedavra while being invisible?
Yeah.
Because Advada Kedavra is an evil spell and an unforgivable curse.
Yeah.
Like, only Voldemort does that. Like, even other Death Eaters will be casting, like, stupefying stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because Advada Kedavra is evil. And, but Voldemort is the kind of teleport around invisible sort of a guy.
Yeah.
And the reason he's like that is because he treats magic like science. Like, there's an explanation. This is...
I think we've talked about this
before. Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
But you put in something and you get a result. That's how he looks at magic.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not how magic works in the Harry Potter universe. That's why Dumbledore is the greatest wizard.
Yeah.
Because magic is about...
love.
Yeah, it's about what it means. Don't use the evil spells.
Yeah.
They make you... Like, Dresden Files does this as well. You have to believe every spell you cast. You have to believe it is right.
Well, like... So, you know the whole thing... I've, like, talked about this before. I sort of make up stories in my head to help myself get to sleep. And basically, it's an exposition machine, honestly. Like, I think I'm trying to bore myself to sleep or something, or just, like, tire out my brain through pure exposition. But one of the ones I came out with was basically Dresden File-esque, except as a necromancer. So, guess what Brandon Sanderson is planning to write?
Like a necromancer urban fantasy or something?
Urban fantasy about a detective inspired by Brandon Sanderson, and the main character is a necromancer instead.
Inspired by...
Inspired by Dresden Files.
Yeah.
Brandon Sanderson inspired by... No.
I'm basing a character on myself. He's a really fast writer.
It's inspired by Dresden Files, like a Dresden File-esque book, except the main character is a necromancer.
Yeah,
But it's also... And it's like... But it's a Sanderson take on magic, and it sort of made me shudder.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do Dresden Files with Sanderson's magic.
Yeah.
Because, although his, what's the Oathbreaker? Was that the latest way, Stormlight Archive?
Yeah.
He did something in it which makes me think maybe he can do a bit more complex magic systems.
Yeah.
That, well, like, obviously he can do complex magic systems, but in Oathbreaker it seems to be the interaction of... There's like 12 or whatever it is, 7 powers.
Yeah.
But then there's 3 planes which they can interact on, and the intersection creates like 21 to 40 whatever powers, which are more... they arise more from your will to power than specific scientific rules.
Yeah. I've found, like, with even the creation things I'm doing, been trying to for a bit with magic, like, having explanations for everything. Like, it's okay. Like, one I came up with was basically when a wizard's casting a spell, they look for words in their heads, and they find the words and they line up and they can speak them, the spells happen. And if they found those words before, they can cast them more often.
Yeah.
But it's like any spell's possible. It's just some spells have more complicated words, and it's like, oh, this person's really good at casting fireballs just because he's found it so many times, like swirling through the mire of spells there. And even that's almost a little too much.
The reason Sanderson has his laws is because
he doesn't want to break his books.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want to break his books, which I know. He's basically giving himself a limitation because he's worried he'll go past that limitation.
It's to avoid Deus Ex Machina. He can also do really cool things because nothing feels pulled out of nowhere. Except I disagree with that because, spoiler for a second book of series, Dalinar just wins a battle out of nowhere by making a bunch of magic baubles of light or something. And it's so dumb compared to everything. Like, he's like, you have to have all these rules so stuff doesn't feel stupid. And it's like, wait a minute, let's just give Dalinar infinite power. Yay!
So, interesting thing about that is, so this guy came up, Ben, and I was talking to him about that, and he didn't like that scene either.
Yeah.
And three other of my friends really like that scene, and I really like it. So it's interesting about, like, the divide on it.
Well, I think it's because you guys are wrong. Like, you like your Pokemon of, like, if you make a constipated face strong enough, then you succeed.
I think what is more is what do you say? You don't see images in your head?
Oh, well, not quite. It's I don't know how you'd put it. I almost, like, words form a meaning to me, but it's not a picture.
Yeah, I think what it is visual reading wise, and it's probably what Sanderson does, is one of his rules is err on the side of awesome. And I think he has set up that Dalinar could do that, and it's the right time for Dalinar to do that.
But it's not awesome. It's just cheap and out of nowhere.
And it's really awesome.
Here's my problem with it, okay? So you have, let's say you have a boxing movie, like Rocky or something. And Rocky's, like, down, and he's almost losing. It's like, Rocky, you can do it. It's like, you can do it, Rocky. It's like, yeah. And gets up and wham, does a punch. You're like, yeah, he did it. So Rocky didn't actually gain strength there. He just used the last of his strength, right? Mm-hmm. So he went to his absolute limit. Mm-hmm. And that's fine, I think. Like, it's cool to will to power. Like, force yourself to get rid of your limitations and go to the end, like, to your actual limits, not your imposed ones, but your real limits. But imagine if, like, it's like, Rocky, you can do it, and he, like, blows up Russia with a punch. Like, he can't do that. No matter how hard he wants to or how much he believes in himself or in the heart of the cards, he can't do it.
Right, like, but Dalinar is bound to a god, and he's got a special position that entitles that power being able to bind worlds.
But now that Dalinar's done that, why can't he do that whenever he wants?
Probably because the worlds need to be close for you to already do that.
Yeah, but why aren't the worlds always just close when they need to be? Like, oh, there's another battle. Oh, the worlds are close again.
I think the worlds might be close in battles. I think that might be what Sanderson's planning to do.
And then Dalinar just wins every battle and recharges all the...
They didn't win the battle. They barely won that battle.
Recharges all the magic jube juice and, like, totally... He's going to destroy the economy with his power, like... Like, he's got unlimited, like, food and light now, like...
It's probably going to be probably the next part of the book, Dalinar are going to be figuring out how he can do it again at will. And figure it out eventually.
And then it's like... You could make him a character, I guess, like, wasn't there...
Cameron, Dresden always reaches deep down inside himself and pulls the shit out of his butt.
I think that's the biggest problem with Dresden Files, is that Dresden always reaches deep down inside himself and wins. Like, but it's different every time, I noticed on a reread. Like, I was looking for it, and it's like, first time he channels a storm, and then he channels the heat from a lake, and then he channels his emotions, and that, like, it's always
then he challenges the anger of all the dead souls in the being killed in the
all area. The souls of the murdered, and so it's always something different.
Yeah.
And the one thing I don't understand is the freezing the lake one, because that means wizards are basically conduits, is the idea, and they can, and the more powerful the wizard, the more they can channel. And Dresden's incredibly powerful, so he's able to channel enough heat to freeze a lake. Yeah. But why would you ever bother casting ice spells if you can just draw the heat out of everything and then you're fully charged for another mega spell?
Because you'd probably fry yourself silly.
If you kept trying it over and over?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
like, Dresden, he's not in good condition, ever. Like, that's the thing about this book, is Dresden is not in a good condition. Like, if you send too much of a charge through a wire, like, you said conduit. If you send too much of a charge through a conduit, it gets fried.
Yeah.
And Dresden is constantly in a state of fried.
But unless Jim Butcher is keeping a tally on the side, there is actually no limit.
Yeah, well, I think what you need to do almost in a case like that is keep a tally on the side and don't tell your damn readers no matter how much they want to know.
Yeah. I think that's...
like, that's an important thing is...
Like, if Brandon Sanderson is doing that, then, okay, I'll accept the Dalinar scene.
Yeah.
But to me, it looks like whenever Brandon Sanderson wants, Dalinar can unite the worlds and blow everything up and recharge all the magic.
Yeah, I think it might even be that he probably does have rules to how it works, but he's not telling people this time, but you usually expect Sanderson to tell you the rules.
My best theory is that the whole series doesn't take place in the physical realm. I think the weird realm full of, like, the spheres is actually the physical realm, and I think they live in the cognitive realm, or something like that. I think that's, like, the big thing.
No.
Yeah, I think that's how it goes.
I don't think so.
Because it made sense for some reason, and I don't remember why, but it made it work somehow.
Actually, speaking of hidden details, his latest book, he did a sci-fi book called Skyward, and hidden detail-wise, like, he did a really good job of that book.
He managed to hide a good story in that really boring... I haven't actually read it, but I was hearing you listen to the audiobook, and it just was so boring. It was like, coordinates are at 327. You may now pull up on your thing. It's like being on an airplane and listening to the captain tell you, like, and now under your seat you will find the thing, and you have to watch, like, oh man, it was awful.
I really enjoy it, and I disagree with some people. I have
level 3 security clearance for pulling the trigger on this.
I disagree with it being, like, very young adult. I don't think it is that sort of thing. I think the characters are just young adults.
People that love, like, lawnmower manuals.
I think it's just maybe. I think it's just the characters are young adults.
There was, like, a guy who's obsessed with lawnmower manuals. He read, like, 1,000 before he was 12. Where did I read about this? But he was, like... Absolute, like, he was
that's insane, Sandy.
There's, like, this little kid, and he just loved lawnmowers or something.
Or that guy who collects vacuum cleaners, and his house is full of vacuum cleaners.
Yeah,
he had, like, over 200 or something.
I saw a bit of that.
And he uses one every single day.
So, yeah, but he's like a little kid. I don't know how he affords it, unless his parents are like... I mean, he's not a little, but he's like 14 or 16 or something.
Well, maybe that vacuum guy vacuums other people's houses.
I guess, yeah.
Like, if he loves vacuums that much.
I mean, that's actually awesome. Like... And we need insane people because, like, you know, when we need someone to, like, screw the little bolts onto like our like car wheels or whatever, to screw the bolts onto our cell phones, you know, because they need the bolts screwed in. Yeah. That we need someone, like, it's not slave labor if they love it beyond belief, right? Like,
there's
or like a sweatshop. You just got to weed out the crazy people and put them in the sweatshops.
There's this comic which I don't understand the way it turned, but like the story went. Yeah. But originally there's this character, she's OCD, and she literally would get hired by people to count things. Yeah. And so it's like, count all this paperwork, like add up all the money, and she's like super OCD and she loves counting numbers. It's like, what have you been doing for the past 3 days? Been counting all her bills to make sure there's no money fraud. It's like, why do you do stuff like that? Because I really enjoy it. We need people like that.
Yeah. And those, like, truckers that go home and, like, turn on their trucking simulator on their computer and play it for 8 hours and then go to sleep for 8 hours and then drive a truck for 8 hours.
And that guy who plays Factorio.
Yeah. Yeah, like, we read that review, I think, where the guy...
Or the hardcore streamers that, like, stream a video game for 16 hours.
Well, we don't need people like that.
Someone's listening to Fool and Foster, right? Well, it's actually... There's an interesting thing. I was, watching one of those people who does those streams. Yeah. And by about hour 5, they are starting to, like, they're very much conserving their energy. Yeah. Like, it doesn't look like they're having fun. It looks like they're just living while doing that. Whereas you, like, look at someone who streams for, like, 3 hours.
Yeah, that I think they're actually entertainment.
Yeah, they stream for 3 hours every, like, 3-4 days. They're actually putting on a show and, like, have their energy level. They're upbeat.
Yeah, the showman.
And I've even found, like, when I do YouTube videos, it's like, okay, where are my energy levels at? Should I record right now?
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't. I am not hyped enough.
Or just fake it.
No, faking it hurts. And then you forget, and you just turn silent because you've used up all your energy in faking it.
You gotta work up your effort. Hey, oh boy, yeah, I love...
Yeah, it's basically like that. And then, like, I look back at the editing... Like, when I used to do that, I look back at the...
play some shortest trip to Earth? We're gonna go on a spaceship, and we're gonna fly, and we're gonna shoot stuff, and then I'm silent, like, everyone, like, for a minute every once in a while. I'll take the second option, and, yeah.
Yeah, basically, and, like, you talk every minute.
Okay, I'll get that, yeah. And, oh, this is better, yeah, okay. And, yeah, 3 of those. Good.
And you see streamers like that, though, like what you're saying, like, they will maybe talk every 30 seconds, and
I think the way to cheat that a little bit, from what I've seen, I've never experienced it myself, but is to do it with someone else.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like I watch.
It's just you need to find someone else who can keep up the energy level. Or can keep it up.
The only stream I watch, and that's only occasionally, is Lewis and Ben Save the World, and one of them does one task and one of them does the other. Yeah. So when the one person's focused on a task, the other person can be talking and and it works really well. Like it's an incredibly long, complicated game. Can be very dull and boring at times, but it's like it's kind of like that one of those like it's a hard experience but worth it sort of thing. But it's definitely like you need something to keep you going in that.
Yeah, well, like I've tried recording some things with other people.
Yeah,
and one of the things I tried doing, which it went terribly, was I tried recording Factorio with Romney.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to engage him in conversation. He was way too focused on Factorio because it's one of the games where you can get way too focused on it.
Yeah.
And he's not used to if you're recording, you lose about 50% of your brain power or more while playing video games and speaking because you're actually like doing a very intense multitask of talking, keeping up a narrative. Even if you're talking about the game you're playing, you lose so much ability to play a video game.
Yeah, well, I've played games with people. Actually, you do this. Like, we'll play Baldur's Gate together, and you go silent, and I'm like, this is weird. Like, I ask you questions, and you just don't do anything. I ask you them again and again, and then you're like, what was that? And
no,
like for me, I think it's a bit like I'm always talking, so I think it's a bit easier for me, probably.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is it's like I was playing, the banana game, My Friend Pedro?
Yeah.
And I played the beginning levels 3 times. And then I was playing them while talking. And so I have a ton of experience at this point. I know what's going on in these levels. And it's still incredibly hard to play them. Like a game like that while talking. It's just like, ah!
Yeah. Like I find it easy to talk to someone else. I don't know if I could talk on my own while playing a game. Because it'd be complicated.
It's a skill set you have to learn.
Yeah.
Like
you have to.
Well,
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but a thing I would do when I was basically like practicing even before I started trying to record, as well as driving somewhere, I'd like turn off the radio, turn off everything, and I'd do a running commentary on my driving while I was driving.
And we're going off the bridge here, and there's the water, it's coming up, and we're in! Yay! Goal!
Like running commentary or talk to no one about like, oh, what's going on in my life right now, just like constantly talking.
So yeah, I recently got away from racketeering. Oh wait, I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. Dang it.
I'll edit it out later.
Edit this out later. Okay. And
yeah.
I wonder, like, when you're so desperate for stuff to say, you start saying like all this stuff, and you're like, yeah, you don't want to have secrets and be a streamer, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a thing I've called the insanity death zone, which is you find a statement and you use it over and over and over again. It's like, all right. And then you talk about all right. And you talk like it's a reset, like the reset death, where you're constantly resetting yourself over and over and over again because you can't think of anything else to say. And then you get into the habit of that reset death. And then there's also like you just start singing random songs or something because you've run out of... Like maybe that's a part of your charm. Like I found that with one person I'd watched for a while. I stopped watching her, but... she would like sing at times, like she'd remember a song and sing, and sometimes I accidentally sing if I get remembered by something. It's like you're talking...
You yell at me when I sing.
I think a part of it is you're talking with, like, running commentary, you talk, And then if you have like some random idea, you'll go off on that tangent without worrying that the person you're talking to is going to lose interest in a way.
So I was just stretching my jaw.
But like, no, you're talking to someone who's like, okay, I don't want to like just suddenly rabbit off in some direction, and then they'll go like, what the heck? Whereas you're doing the commentary and then you like, oh, I just had an idea. And then you'll go off on that and then you'll come back to whatever you're talking about. Although, I don't know. Maybe if I did keep more consistent, I'd have more views.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a tier 3 science factory right here. And then speaking of which, you know, I went to this really nice sushi restaurant the other day. Yeah, it's got the best sushi. Like, you know how when sushi, it's got like the raw fish? I don't like that. It scares me. But I like it when they've got like fresh rice, but they cooked. But, you know, like it feels fresh anyways. Rice isn't fresh. It's dried, you know. But
actually, speaking of that sort of thing, so Mr. Beast released this thing on YouTube of like how to make better videos.
Yeah.
And one of the things he said, I don't have like enough people watching to actually do this, but he said you can look at your Alex and you can see like your retention time, and you can look at videos actually and see where people click off.
Yeah.
And he's saying, so watch what you've done at the point where you click off. Like if you sneeze and then 25% of people stop watching at that point, try not to sneeze while like doing your videos. Or like if you say like this one word, like you have this catchphrase statement, and people click off whenever you do that, like every single time.
Wacky!
Yeah, he's saying like, look for those, but I don't have a big enough pool to draw from.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very interesting little bit of Alex, and I think one of the few good bits of advice he gave. Another one was actually just like, do videos with people, because otherwise you'll lose all interest and energy to do them if you're just doing it by yourself.
Yeah.
Because you'll just run out of... It won't be fun.
I find...
Like, do things that are fun, is what he said.
Captain Sparkles, I don't know how he keeps going and going and going. Like, he's a solo YouTuber that just makes it work somehow.
Yeah.
He just goes and goes and goes and goes. Has like 1 million channels.
He has the most channels.
He might.
I think he did for a while.
He's got a lot. Mm-hmm. Maybe like the most with consistent uploads anyways.
The most run by one person.
Yeah.
Or two.
With consistent like uploads.
Yeah.
Because there's people probably that just abandon them left and right and keep going and going. But he keeps all his alive. And
yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Well done on him, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a strange thing, like the analytic games, once you can actually start looking at them. Like, one of the things I did is I used to do videos at 20 minutes long. And it's like, wait a minute, people do 20-minute long videos because this means you can get 2 to 3 ads in. And, like, there's several other things. And it's like, I'm not at a point where I can do ads. And my retention is about 5 minutes average. Which means some people click onto the video for, like, 1 minute and then stop. Some people watch it the whole way through, but I'll average out to about 5 minutes.
So now all your videos are 5 minutes long?
No, my videos are now 15 minutes long. And so, basically, YouTube is more likely to recommend your videos if they have longer retention time.
Yeah.
And so, instead of me having a 25% retention time, I have a 33% retention time, which actually does drastically increase the amount that the algorithm will say, hey, let's recommend these. And it was shocking how much adding playlists did. Like, I don't know if I talked about it last time, but...
No, but we talked about it in person.
Yeah, but it's insane how much...
Yeah.
It adds, like, just playlists you can vortex people into continue watching your videos.
Yeah, well, YouTube was accused recently of creating, like, rabbit holes that people, like, go down, and it leads them to, like, extremism and stuff. And I don't know if we talked about this, but, like, if your mind and thinking is controlled by YouTube's,
You've blamed
recommendations...
You've blamed me on this.
Yeah, but there was, like, an article by, like, it was, like, the New York Times or something. I don't remember.
It made me a radical.
But, like, come on.
Yeah.
Do you have no... what kind of weak-willed, like, pansy, spineless, like, come on. Like,
well, another thing I've done with the 15 minutes is end cards.
Yeah.
You have to... Those don't automatically happen. You have to, like, add them.
Yeah.
However, I kind of hate end cards in a way because I don't add, like, a black spot to the end of my videos. So my end cards last about 3 seconds.
Yeah. And
the usual recommended amount is something like a 10-second end card.
Yeah.
And so my last 3 seconds basically when I'm saying goodbye or like I'm done with this video. But even then, end cards I've looked at, it's like, oh, these end cards gave you subscriptions. These ones gave you more views. And it's like, wow, just adding all these little pieces. Like before I looked up like how you get more views, like how do you keep retention, and it said make playlists, add end cards. And like, you don't need to do that.
But Well, the reason that it works is because YouTube is rewarding you for doing what they want you to do.
Yeah.
Which, it's kind of insidious.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yes, good, dance, little doll, dance.
Actually, a fun thing, though, I've noticed is, so there's this whole thing you can see, like, search, like, how much of your watching comes from searching, how much comes from, like, impressions showing up. And something I think, like, last time I checked, it was 25% comes from searches, which I like, because apparently it's usually around 10% come from searches, unless it's like, oh, how do you do this, what do you do this, like, oh, I want to look up the specific thing.
I imagine the smaller the channel is, the more it comes from searches. Because
that's too. Also, I target niche things.
Yeah.
Which is a part, like Bewitchment.
And Minecraft. Yeah.
Well,
the second most popular game on Earth.
It's, oh man, PewDiePie. What a guy.
What did he do?
He re-renaissanced Minecraft.
What do you mean by that?
The viewing of he did this thing which was Gamer Week. People kept requesting, like, PewDiePie, play video games again.
Yeah.
So, like, fine, I'll play video games again. Gamer Week. And so he went through and then, like, he played Minecraft for one of the days. And a ton of people really liked it, and he got a ton of views for it. And he's like, I don't know if I'll play a Minecraft game. Okay, fine, I'll play it more. And now he's just been playing it constantly. And it's been very much viewed. And so other people, like, I feel bad for Hat Films because basically they released their whole thing around the same time as him. And so it looked like they're bandwagoning.
Yeah.
But they had this whole thing of, like, trailer, like, oh, we're going to do a Minecraft series soon. We're going to do it soon. Like, they're planning, so it just happened around the same time. But when you look at, like, Jaden Animations was doing, like, Minecraft video playing. Like, there's a bunch of other people who don't usually are doing it again.
Right. So YouTube has a lot more Minecraft videos getting released recently.
Yeah, because I think PewDiePie just, like, he's so massive that if he, like, consistently sticks with it, because he's really enjoying the game and having fun making these videos and interacting with his audience with them, that, like, he's so big that if he does it, he can basically influence YouTube's whole system.
Right. So that's just for YouTube, though.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, like, Minecraft hasn't ever really gone out of popularity.
No.
It? Like, it's
like
a
more
ridiculously
and more
popular game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, it's kind of insane, like, just YouTube's side. Like, how big he is. Like, actually what sort of influence he has on their system.
Yeah, it's amazing how...
It's amazing how much they've tried to attack him.
People will follow someone...
Yeah.
And not have...
their own free will and ideas of their own, and they'll just click on wherever they see something of him.
Like, I haven't seen many PewDiePie videos, but I saw one where he said something, and then I saw comments all throughout all of YouTube, and even outside of YouTube, on the internet, of people...
Quoting him,
basically, just from as if it was, I don't know, like a cultural thing. Like, well, if someone was saying like I don't know, if someone said like, and Rohan calls for aid, sort of thing. Like, we'll reference this giant cultural hallmark of like Lord of the Rings, but it's like something PewDiePie said in a video.
Well, I mean, I know he got passed by T-Series for subscribers, but still, is he the biggest celebrity in the world? Like,
I don't know. I think. Like movie actors are probably more popular because a much wider audience like knows about them. And
I guess so. Still, like, a lot of people know about PewDiePie. Although probably a ton of people know about Robert Downey Jr.
I would say with PewDiePie, he probably has, like, I don't know, but he probably has more fans. Like, I don't, like, what would you call those? Like, more diehard fans?
More sycophants? Well, not sick,
but everyone that subscribed to him had to choose to do so.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone that knows about Robert Downey Jr. Just has heard about him or seen him in a poster somewhere or something. So PewDiePie's...
Well, yeah, so then if you look at, though, everyone who's subscribed to PewDiePie, then imagine everyone who hasn't, who has heard about him, by the subscribe to PewDiePie, like the things getting hacked or people buying ads.
So maybe a more accurate way to do it would be most Twitter followers. In which case, I believe that's Justin Bieber has the most.
Really?
Yeah. And then, like, Lady Gaga or something. Or, like,
if you go to most...
No, it's not Lady Gaga. I don't remember who it was.
Go to most viewed video on... That's Despacito. And that has, like, 5 billion or something insane.
Yeah, but someone watches it twice, and it's only 2.5 billion, and...
Yeah. There's probably people who've, like, watched it dozens of times.
Yeah.
But still, just someone... A button getting clicked... Even by, like, a large population, 5 billion times is a lot.
Yeah, kind of. Like, you can type like 1,000,000 words.
Yeah.
And it's like doable. And it's weird. Like 1,000,000 is an attainable goal for people to do something of. Like you could...
Yeah, Brandon Sanderson does that every day.
Yeah.
Does he?
No.
No.
No. No, 1,000,000 words is...
Doesn't he do like 1,000 or something? Or
probably more than 1,000, but something around there. 1,000 to 2,000, I think I read. I don't remember now. But 1,000,000 words, I think it's definitely a lot.
It's a 200-page book.
No. It's like 10,000 or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But that's not
unachievable.
No, that's not how many times you type though either. You like that's a word, but you hit. Yeah. But if you go by characters, then you're averaging like what, 4 characters a word or something.
Yeah. And
all of a sudden, it's a lot less. Yeah, it's either 1,000 or 10,000 pages is roughly 1,000,000 words, I think.
Yeah.
So it's a lot, but it's achievable. And if you have 1,000 people do an achievable thing, then all of a sudden that's 1 billion.
Yeah, but I don't think 1,000 people have listened to Despacito 1,000,000 times.
No.
Because YouTube actually does a thing with views, which I don't think people... Like, some people might know about, but...
Well, I think 1,000,000 seconds is 30 years as well, so yeah, it wouldn't really work.
But, so YouTube does a thing which is, if a video is, like, viewed for a certain amount of times repeatedly, it'll start reporting views. And if the same person watches it too many times in a row, like if they open up in 5 different browsers and launch all those, it'll only report, like, 3 of them. So the algorithm actually, like, cuts out spam of views, which is a thing to note, like... I've experimented with that because I can like release a video that's like 10 seconds long and just to experiment with that. And the algorithm definitely does cut out spam.
Yeah. And man, Google's creepy. I got a 3D printer recently, as you might know. You got me a 3D printer.
Yeah.
With some, other people gifting it as well. Combined gift to me. A 3D printer I have now. And I was trying to look up a thing I had saved for 3D printers.
Yeah.
And it wasn't on the browser I use, so I went to Chrome, where I thought I might have saved it. And I think I clicked once on something.
Yeah.
And I might have clicked 0 times even, but it was probably once. Didn't find it, quit everything.
Yeah. Then
today, this morning, on YouTube, I got an ad for a 3D printer resin on YouTube. And
well, part of that is because I looked up 3D printers and which ones to get you and stuff. Our network has now been infected with targeting 3D printers.
Possibly, yeah.
Like, that's something that happens is networks get targeted.
Like IP addresses, yeah.
Yeah.
I could be it, but I hadn't got one until today. But, yeah, it might have just been coincidence, but... Yeah, I don't know.
It's sometimes fun, though, messing with that. Like, I was reading a comic that's apparently targeted for, like, 18-year-old girls or something.
Yeah.
And, like, I've seen these ads before. Like, I read a lot of action comics. So you get this ad where it's like, you're assaulting. It's like, choose which princess you want to marry. And it's like, oh, you're ugly, you're poor, I'll choose you, you'll have my children sort of thing. Like, there's these weird games, and they look terrible. Then, like, the women's version of that is like, choose your hero, or like, save him, like, make him a better person. It's like these rugged, hot-looking guys. It's like, okay, so they're both trash games.
Might be the same game.
Yeah, it's just like, huh, okay, you're targeting the wrong audience here. Now the real question is, are you listening to the full Philosopher? It's definitely a weird thing. Like, the algorithmic things are insane. Like, do you know about middle management's going to disappear?
For?
Businesses. Because it's been found... middle management has these very specific things they need to do, and AIs can do those things really well.
Yeah.
And so you can actually replace middle management with the AIs, and they can do it very well.
I was watching some construction the other day. People, like, digging up a road and putting a new road in. And there was 2 people with signs that say, like, slow and stop.
Yeah.
I was wondering how hard it would be to get a little motor that, like, just flipped the signs around.
Just... Well, there's definitely a thing to be like, okay, how much do we want to invest? And then, do we want to create jobs?
Yeah.
Because the job I did for a while, which was the grinding rocks, I was like looking at the whole setup, and it's like, okay, these machines probably like break down, like they were breaking down while we were there. Like they have different problems, they have to replace them. So in the short run, like it's probably going to work out better. But in the long run, you could get rid of all these employees and have maybe 3 people running one machine that could do all the stuff we're doing automatically. And then you could have one person specialized in repair, one person just working on running it, and then the other person cleaning it. Because those are the 3 things you need. And sure, their pay would be slightly higher, but you would have less machines constantly breaking down. You only need the one machine, and you'd only need 3 employees instead of a whole room fill, and you could do it way more efficiently. But they don't want to do the short-term investment. And also a part of that apparently is the machines have been almost identical for something like 20 years because they're just doing it to create jobs.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah, I've always wondered, like, with creating jobs, and I'm not an economist or anything, so I don't know, but could you just...
It's not even a government job, though. It's something, like, incentivized. Like, we just need to have jobs up.
Couldn't you just have, like, a robot do stuff?
And then pay a person?
And then just give someone money, yeah. And that sounds like some sort of weird communist thing almost.
Like,
but
what if you, like, bought shares in worker robots? And so, like, you had, like, this is my worker robot. I've earned up enough to buy a second worker robot that can work for me. And it can fulfill jobs. So, like, you have, like, let's say a warehouse job of moving boxes, right? And you've bought one worker robot that moves boxes. And then maybe you also work in that warehouse, but you have the worker robot and you're getting both incomes. And then you're like, oh, I've earned enough money that now I can have 2 worker robots. I no longer need to move boxes, but I still will move them for extra income. So I can earn more or something.
I think you're onto something, actually. So I think how you do it...
Or like, I own 3D printers and I can print out the parts for things.
I think how you would do it, it would be a company wants to start up or expand. And so instead of buying shares in the company, you would buy their automation for them. And then they would rent the automation from you at a lower cost than hiring a worker to do the same work.
Like the Tesla gigafactories or whatever have those robot arms, and like Frank could own 5 robot arms.
So a company, instead of having very rich investors, could have thousands of average investor type people, or millions of them, that buy their equipment for them, and then they rent it from them at a lower rate. And
maybe the company will eventually do a buyout, but
yeah, that could actually make that work. Like, that's a way to do it without it turning into like communism. That's interesting.
Well, like, there's this whole thing which is people are like, oh, eventually we'll just, like, all the work will be taken up by robots, and then the rich will just have all the money and the poor will suffer, sort of thing. Like, no one else will have anything.
But who will be poor if you can automate everything? Like, you can just have whatever you want.
That's one of my thoughts. Like, why would you oppress everyone else?
Yeah,
and if you're the super rich. Like, have you heard what Jeff Bezos' goal is before he dies? To give away all his money.
And why would you be poor? Like, I don't think anyone can become rich, but you can try at least. Like, why would you be? How did the rich people become rich? Did the money fall from the sky? Like, I don't know.
Just Bill Gates, just giant suitcase lands in front of him.
Yeah.
Just shuffles off with it.
Yeah, or like Mark Zuckerberg, something like, they didn't just have money handed to them. And I think that's sounded a bit dismissive of me. Like, it wasn't just handed to him. Just learn how to like make a massively popular social media platform.
Yeah,
idiots. I had this line which like we could do for the show, or so, like, so much couching you don't need furniture, and so much hedging you don't need walls, kind of thing. Like,
what?
Like, it just I don't want to like say that people are lazy, and I don't want to do.
So much. Oh yeah, jeez. And there's also something about walking back.
Yeah, so much backtracking. Yeah,
so much backtracking, you'll never get lost.
Yeah. Good tagline.
I detract that statement slightly. I just made that statement, but I detract it and go, I walk it back and now explain my actual thoughts now that I've gotten was it id? Is that the thing that screams?
I guess.
In psychology, like that one thing? Like,
yeah.
Ah!
what you could do is just say how you really feel and then take it back.
Actually, what's your thought?
What's wrong with you poor people? You're just stupid? Okay, so actually, no, that's harsh. See, what I mean actually is like, you know, I think just if you get educated and you would stop being so stupid.
What's your thought on the whole thing? Like, someone makes a statement and then people demand apology and you're like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. If I walk it back, I really respect people who call their dogs their children, pretend that their dogs are called mom and dad, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm very sorry about that. I believe people can talk about their pets however they like. Like, how do you feel about someone doing something like that?
I think if they believe in it, then sure.
Because I feel like they're spineless a lot of the time.
I think you
or trying to do some sort of weird damage control.
I think that you shouldn't be afraid to change your mind, and you shouldn't cripple yourself by wanting to hold yourself to your imagined view of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, just because at one point you disavowed, like, Little Mac or something in Smash Bros. Doesn't mean that you should hate Little Mac forever.
And I play him.
And just because you don't like a tilt stick on a controller doesn't mean you shouldn't try it.
I tried it and I don't like it as much.
But having tried it, you now understand that people aren't cheating. They're just doing a different setup. And
they're down cheaters.
And I think you should
walking back is like weakness, though. Like, you're wrong. You were wrong. You're weak. People can go through your throat now. You're rolling over on your back, leaving your belly up.
I don't think so, because if you are consistent in your views and you state what you believe, then you have no weak point. Because people can attack you all you like, but you are still remaining
stalwart,
true to yourself, I think. And but a bit more than that.
Sometimes they are spineless.
Because true to yourself can also sound like sticking with what you first said, right? Which is not what I'm going for. So maybe true to yourself isn't what how I should put it. But you are being consistent in your views that if something has changed your mind, then you won't cling to any childish notion of needing to have been right in the past. You become willing to change. I think C.S. Lewis said, I'm going to paraphrase horribly here, but he said, I am a grown man, and I am so grown up, I've left all childish things behind, such as the fear of being such as the fear of someone thinking I am childish. Basically, he's so confident in himself, he could go skipping down the park lane, but he's a grown man, he can do what he wants. He doesn't worry about looking childish, because he knows he's a man.
Yeah, well, it's sort of like the statement, though. It's like only people have questioned me about my habits of throwing babies in blenders. I'd like to say now that I stand behind that 100%. I do throw them into blenders. I know it's like some evil statement, and people are like, retract that. Oh, he's a horrible person. Like, you never have the person like, yes, I am evil.
I think it's because people want to be seen as good, so either they find their statement indefensible and they realize they're wrong, or it is defensible and they defend themselves. Yeah, I don't think we
don't actually have evil people in that sort of sense of someone just going like, yes, I am evil.
Jordan Peterson's book's a lot about how people can be evil, like the one I read, Maps of Meaning, and he goes on and on how people are evil, and denying that is a form of evil in itself. But I think what he's saying is true for his definition of evil. But my definition of evil is selfless. I think, like, my definition of true evil is a selfless evil. Like, evil without any thought for yourself. You just do it for the sake of evil, not because you want any benefit for yourself. You do it out of just the love in your heart to cause evil.
Not even the love in your heart, it's just you're doing it to be evil.
Yeah, but not for any gratification of any sort. It's selfless. It's like true good is selfless. You just you pick that person up and don't think about them ever again.
You're doing it for the good.
You just do it for the sake of goodness, and it's not because you get a warm glow or like the world. You just do it because it's the right thing to do. So just true evil. You just do it because it's the wrong thing to do. And that's who you are, and you're not going to change for anyone.
We don't have enough people like that in the world. We need more evil people.
I don't know if we have anyone like that, and I hope we don't.
Can you imagine the amount of damage a rational evil person could do?
Well, that's why psychopaths are so scary. Because it's basically, there's no limitations. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, but like a psychopath, I think, has some limitations in a way that they don't understand people to the extent of like, emotional beings in some ways. And like they have very much like this is a way psychopaths, like we've proved that this is sort of way psychopaths operate, they can be very devoted towards one thing. But I'm just saying like ordinary Joe who's completely like in logic being evil.
Yeah. Well, here's like a terrifying thought, okay? So there's money on your desk right now. There's scissors right there.
Yeah.
A psychopath could be like, I want that money. I can grab those scissors, cut your throat, and I could be out of here. Like, and it's not... The only question is, will I be caught, and is the risk of being caught worth that money? Yeah. That's the only question. And that's terrifying.
It is. And then there's also another question of, I can slit his throat, how much damage can he do while his throat's throat?
Yeah. But the thing is, when you are... There's no reason that someone you trust would ever attack you. So you have no reason to, like, you might not even react in time because you're just like, what the heck? What's going on?
Well, I'm not even, like, your throat gets slashed. Yeah. I'm talking, like, I don't know about other people, but I'm very spiteful. I know about myself. Like, if I got, like, maybe you are the one exception. Like, I might be in shock. But almost anyone else, if I, like, got attacked or betrayed like that, I would be super, super spiteful. You know, like, sort of thing, like, all right, my throat's being cut. I can tear their throat out with my teeth. Let's do it. Like, that's the best attack option for killing them now.
Yeah.
Like, that's the sort of, like, mentality of spitefulness for me. Like, there's a whole thing, like, in martial arts movies, there's two different things. Like, someone gets shot, it's like, oh, I've been shot, and they fall over. And you have, like, the banner man who's, like, standing there, it's like, walking up to check him out. And he's, like, impaled, really messed up. It's like, no, don't go over here. Don't go near him. And then he stabs the person. Or, like, the bad guy's like, ha-ha, stab.
Yeah.
Like, that's the two different things in martial arts. They either instantly collapse, or they keep fighting until there's, like, no possible reason for them to keep fighting. Like in that Jackie Chan movie.
Well, that was different.
The Romans are like, let's make sure.
Right. But at the end of the movie, spoilers for Dragon Blade, the villain stabbed himself when it appeared he was going to kill the hero.
Yeah.
Which was very different, actually.
Well, it's the interesting line he said where...
A hero was always accountable for his actions.
Yeah, when he stabbed the general, he still saw himself as doing what was right. Yeah. And then he's like, a hero has to be accountable. I think he realized, like, everyone's cheering on this one person he'd definitively beaten. And he, like, got really broken. And then he's like, I could stand without snow. Like, I'd be accountable. He's
like, I'm the villain. A hero's accountable. And or maybe he failed, so he killed himself. I think he's actually a very similar character to Lord Glove in a lot of ways. But the difference is that...
He doesn't look like Harry Berry Boy.
The Dragon Blade is... the characters are really cool in it, but they make... It's so fast.
Yeah.
Like, you have no time to explore these,
you asked me the question, is this one of those movies, which was a TV series that they just cut?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it isn't.
Because, like Tiberius in that is a very interesting character. Like, he admires the great generals of the nation, and he wants to help them out, and he wants to be a hero, and he holds himself to this strict moral code, and he's very upset when he betrays his people. But he does it because... Well, I'm not, like, it's for Rome or something.
Yeah, he's doing it for Rome.
And yeah, he's actually a very interesting character. It's done well enough that you actually can see glimpses of it.
Yeah, like, even the thing where, like, the other general, he's like, I always, like, you're here with me. Like, I always had the most faith in you. You're the best fighter. Yeah. He's, like, really upset they had to torture that guy in a way. Yeah. It's weird.
And he said the hardest thing he ever had to do was blind his brother. But he needed to blind his brother because he needed to be consul instead. Yeah. Yeah. It was... Yeah, so there's a lot of, like, interesting characterization, but the movie just, like, it did so much in such a short time. It was...
Whereas Kung Fu Master, I think... Is that the movie?
Yeah.
They cut out all the fluff and only did the awesome fight scenes. Yeah. And man, there's some awesome fight scenes.
It made no sense, but it was awesome.
No sense, but that is an awesome movie.
Yeah. Like, I have no idea why he can do the stuff he can do or why he's doing the stuff he's doing, but it's awesome while he's doing it. Like, fighting people atop a mountain of benches, chairs, holding a bench.
And the benches have swords come out of the bottom of them.
And it's just... And there's, like, men with hooks doing stuff. And
or the most ridiculous weapons ever, like those alleyways that are filled with the logs with spikes, like when the monks are fighting.
Oh, and they have to, like, flip them up with the...
Yeah, like the soldiers just like, how can these...
staves?
Yeah, but like, how can these monks live? Like, all right, we've got a group of Kung Fu masters. How do we fight them? All right, we'll cover a log, with spikes and then roll it towards them in this corridor, and they can't get out. And then the monks manage to get out of it.
Yeah, they flip the spike logs up, and
There's like there's a trope throughout the whole movie, which was the Kung Fu master could block stuff with his throat.
Yeah, like he keeps getting like hit with staffs in his throat, and he blocks swords. It. Well, actually, no. I think like the various monks do it and stuff, but then the Kung Fu master gets stabbed with a spear.
Yeah, and he like blocks it, and he also stops swords. And then a bunch of the monks stab the villain in the throat with their staffs, and he's bending them all. And then monk charges forward with a log in his hand and slams it into him, and he goes flying.
Yeah.
Like, they just have, like, breaking expectations constantly. Also, it's confusing.
And they use a lot of unusual weapons, which is cool. Like benches. But they also use, like, actual weapons that aren't seen that much. Like, I don't even remember what it's called now. Half moons or something. Yeah. They're, like, weighted spears with, like... moon-like blades on the end.
They're for decapitation.
Yeah, and you spin them around. Then they've got like a counterweight, and you spin them around, and yeah.
Yeah, apparently the best weapon for a zombie apocalypse,
according to the Zombie Survival Guide.
Yeah, and then like the villain,
I can see that,
has a ridiculously heavy glaive.
Yeah,
which is slightly unusual.
Yeah, it was a cool movie. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was.
You are listening to The Fool and the Philosopher, and Windswept, and at the beginning, Adrian-von Ziegler. Choreography's the best. I was asking a friend, I was like, what kind of movie do you want? He said, oh, I like action movies. It's like, oh, like, you watch this movie? No. Watch this movie? No. Watch this movie? No. Watch this movie? No. It's like, oh, you mean action movies as in, like, shooting, explosion action movies.
As opposed to...
Kung Fu action movies. Yeah. Which, I really like Kung Fu action movies. Like, when they have too many special effects, it sort of takes away, like, a shame, I feel, is Donnie Yen's movies. A lot of them have way too many special effects in them, because he is such a good martial artist.
Is he Ip Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the Ip Man movies really show that. He is such a good martial artist that they don't need all these ridiculous special effects. Like, just show him fighting, like, show choreography. Because he's amazing. But then, like, they add all these silly special effects, like the jumping. Okay, I'm fine with that. But then, like, the weird backflips and all this extra stuff, it's like, I don't like that. Or, like, the one punch that then, like, breaks a person and they fall over. Like, Ip Man has some very, very brutal scenes, but they're also just, like, so good. Like the 1 versus 10 fight scene, where he just demolishes 10 black belts, is an incredible scene. Apparently that scene's actually based off, partly based off what he did to the people who insulted his girlfriend. Like, the choreography is slightly based off that fight.
Yeah, because the actor's actually, he's like, he went and beat up a gang one time.
They were insulting his girlfriend. I think he hospitalized, like, 6 or 7 people.
Yeah.
And, like... Usually, like, a thing that's very interesting, and I was talking to my dad about this, who's a very good martial artist, and he's saying you can beat a martial artist, even a black belt, like if they've just gone their black belt, if you can do 2 things. You can ignore pain, and you can fight to win. You can beat any martial artist, basically, who's not an insane master or really, really good.
Yeah.
Because... if you, like, get into a street fight with martial arts, they're going to fight like a martial arts because that's how they know how to fight. So if, like, you fight to take them out, and you can ignore their first few hits because they're going to hit you. They're a martial arts. They can punch really fast. They're going to hurt. They're going to, like, put you into a grab. But if you can ignore that for a short amount of time and then hit, like, a vital part, or just incapacitate martial arts, they go down. Whereas Donnie Yen's at the level, like, there's a level after people are black belts, sort of Donnie Yen and my dad's probably at. Maybe not to Donnie Yen's extent, which is they're so good at fighting, and they've done so many different disciplines and done so many sparring matches. They know what's outside the rules now, again, and they can start doing fights beyond boundaries. And then when you see that in a martial arts movie, it's so good. It's an interesting thing, like, in the medieval combat club, like, I was showing someone an example of, like, almost a problem. So we were both wearing armor, and I put down the sword, and so it's like, alright, hit me before I can hit you. And where we're both wearing armor is he had a sword. We didn't have any foam swords. And so I kind of just wanted to show him, like, alright, so you have a sword, but are you fast enough to use it? Like, can you actually fight with it? And so he'd like raise up the sword, and while he is raising up, no whole thing in video games where you see the thing raising up and you start running.
Nope.
Like, you know, like it's in Mario where it's like the thing collapses down like it's a wave of things, like a thwomp, a thwomp, a thwomp, and then they start slowly rising up, and so you start running underneath them while they're rising up,
right,
in the row.
Okay.
So it's basically like when he started raising up the sword, I jumped and hit him in the armor with my hands and knocked him over. And it's just sort of showing like, if you like, martial arts get very used to rules. Even like the medieval people, they sort of do an all-out brawl, but he's like, he doesn't fight people who aren't using weapons. Even if they're brawling, you're not expecting someone to do a judo throw unless you fought a lot, and it's a weird thing with martial arts.
Yeah, I've heard like most, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard most holds, and I think Taekwondo is based around holds.
Yeah.
But a lot of holds don't really work if the person doesn't want to be held, because you can let them break your arm or your finger or your wrist or whatever. Yeah. But I mean that would hurt a lot. But like you said, if you don't care about pain.
Yeah, well, it's like.
But there is martial arts that are like there's a Jewish martial art. I forget what it's called.
Breaking joints.
But it's all about like incapacitation and like going for the groin, clawing out eyes. That sort of like. So
be told how one of the guys got taught by. He had a weird form of martial arts, and I don't think he was a brilliant teacher, but he did it was jujitsu partly and ninjutsu, like a mix. And so he did like the classic thing of like the very useless martial art. You grab someone, you throw them on the ground, and like you can do that very fast if you're good at it. Maybe like some people won't get thrown because they don't want to, but there's other things you can do to them. And then he'd always say, finish them after that. Like you say, it's done. Like, instead of just, like, throwing, like, every example he'd do, he'd, like, work this into his routine of he'd bring his hand down across, like, the student's throat and stop before he hit them. So he'd follow through with holds and grabs. Or it's like, get someone to a grab, then he'd let go and do the motion of breaking their arm, and then bringing his elbow into the back of their head. Like, that was his routine. Like, he didn't teach that. But you could see, like, this, like, he definitely knows how to fight. Like, he even tells the stories, like, when I was a much younger and stupider man, I went into a bad part of town to see how many people I could beat. And a lot of people are hospitalized, including me. So he's like one of those people who went into like a bad part of town to see how many people he could fight. And like he knows how to do the finishing that like a lot of martial arts don't do. Joe Rogan was actually talking about this, which is very interesting, which is someone saying like, oh, what martial arts should I go into if I want to be a self-defense fighter? And Joe Rogan said, all right, so a lot of martial arts are useless. If you just practice one martial art, what I recommend is go into a martial art, anyone. Like, just choose a martial art besides MMA and become really good at it. Like, become good at holds, or become good at kicking, become good at punching, become good at, like, taking blows. Like, just take one principle. And then once you've gone, like, fairly good at that, then go into mixed martial arts. Because mixed martial arts is a martial art that actually teaches fighting. And so he's saying, like, get good at something else, and then you go mixed martial arts, you can fight. And then if you get in a situation where you can put the guy into a hold, then you're a master at holds. And so you can fight like a person who should be able to fight. And then you can also be a hold master. Or you're in a fight and you can open with a kick now because you're a master at kicking. But it's not going to ruin you because if you can't kick. So it's a very interesting thing of him saying like, master something else, then go into mixed martial arts and become a good fighter. And then you can use the other thing as a resource. So you know when like a lot of people get like you're saying, go into martial arts to learn how to fight and this sort of thing. You know, let's say Smash Bros. You have a character. Name a character you like to play with. Okay, Samus.
Okay, so Samus. Would you rather make it so Samus took 1% less damage from all attacks, or did 1% damage with more damage with all her attacks?
1% more.
Okay. And maybe that's not a great example, but something like that, right? Because I've always thought that when you're playing any sort of game, and Smash Bros. Is just one, you don't want to plan for loss. You want to plan for victory. And so if you want more defense for a character, that means you plan to be hit. Yeah. And that's not what you're going for. You want to plan to win, which means you're hitting them. Which means when you hit them, you want to hit them better. Yeah. Right. So that's sort of my thought there. And maybe Smash Bros. Wasn't a great example, but I think it kind of works. There is situations like someone like Bowser, where you can actually use the advantage that you take so much damage, you can tank so much damage that you can actually
attack through it.
So you can actually guarantee hits on people because they are busy hitting you. So that is a slight, it's not black and white, obviously. So I wonder with martial arts, if instead of going into martial arts, it'd be better to go to like a diplomacy class or like an acting class or something like.
Oh, so you don't have to fight?
Yeah. Like, because by the time you're fighting, you've already lost, right?
Well, be told also, one of the things he teaches in martial arts class, we never got to this, is not fighting. Like, avoiding fights.
My advanced lesson, how not to fight.
Talking people down, like stopping fights, sort of thing. There's another interesting thing I sort of like learned about, also looked it up and assumed it slightly for myself, but so like martial arts, like there's some useful things about them, but a lot of them have turned into the art part, which I like about martial arts, like the art of just doing it, like besides learning to fight. But when people want to learn to fight, like the martial art you go into is mixed martial arts. Like that's the fighting martial art. And that's just because like what mixed martial arts did is it took everything it found useful about all other martial arts, boiled it down into fighting, like punching, like all their holds, got rid of all the extra stuff. There's one other martial art that I know of that does that. And that's Peter Rolston's martial art, which isn't nearly as popular as mixed martial arts. But he went sort of the different route of, he took Tai Chi, he took everything useful about it, and they took a bunch of different martial arts and found out what worked about them. And they just looked at things that didn't work in martial arts and said, okay, this is gone, but I'm still keeping Tai Chi. Let's make it useful.
And that's Qigong, right?
Yeah, Qigong.
Yeah.
And it is an insane martial art. If you watch people that are good at it, they are so good at fighting. Like, it is bizarre compared to other martial arts. Like, oh, there's a Tai Chi master and he's fighting a kickboxer. Oh, he gets destroyed instantly. Or you see, like, oh, karate guy's fighting this other person. The karate guy has trouble. And then you, like, see someone who's good at Qigong and, like, they enter a fight. They don't get hit. And they can throw people ridiculously far. Like, they're so good at fighting. And it's bizarre. Like, he's basically like, alright, there's... Basically, I feel like Peter Rolston, like, people did Tai Chi as a martial art for a reason. It worked in some way. So instead of, like, trying to go from the basics and, like, let's boil it down to fighting, which is MMA, it's like, let's look at why they actually did Tai Chi and what works in Tai Chi itself, like what works with this whole thing, and let's use that. And then you look at that, it's like, whoa, that's insane. Like, I don't know if you've seen videos of them, right?
Not really, no.
Like, there's, like, my dad's talking about, I've seen videos, but, like, he does this thing, which is he walks into people and brushes his shoulder against them, and he can make you fall over. And it's like, what? How is that possible? Like, consistently, like a big person, he's like, don't let me knock you over, sort of thing. Like a random person from the crowd, like, don't let me knock you over. And he'll walk past you and he can knock you over with his shoulder.
Yeah, because he's just that good at reading body language, I guess.
Yeah, posture, and like, okay, this is where they're unbalanced. And that's like his shoulder, and that's like, when he's throwing people, they go so far, because he's not, like, the whole... I know it sounds sort of like, oh, martial arts, like, not using his own energy. But it's like, you charge him, or you even try to punch him, he's going to not get hit, and he's also going to make sure you overextend yourself.
He's going to shave you in midair to make you more aerodynamic.
Yeah. No, sort of, like that whole thing about, like, oh, someone's trying to punch you, and, like, the Tai Chi would be like, oh, redirect their fist. It's like, don't get punched. Like, stay away from them. They can redirect their force. Make it so they're at a point where they're no longer balanced, and then attack them.
Push their fist past you, slap a fin on their back so they, like, they cut through the air and give them a shove.
Yeah, it's just... I really want to just learn more about the martial art. And I am reading a book on it. That'll help. But...
You just gotta fight him. You gotta find him. He was, like, a world champion at something, right?
He was a world champion in the worldwide martial arts tournaments.
Okay.
Which was basically anyone could enter them, and they just film it and people just fight. Is the only rules, you just fight.
Right.
That's it. And they ended one of the years he won. 3 people died that year or something. It was a year where not many people died compared to the others.
Right.
So, like, an average was 8 people dying.
So you just have to find him, like, hike a long way up the great mountain. I think he lives in Texas, actually.
Yeah, he lives in Texas.
But hike up to the great mountains of Texas and challenge him to a duel, so then you can learn.
He's an old man with bad knees.
Yeah, so you have an advantage.
Yeah.
You can say you beat a world champion. Well, maybe wait a couple more years.
Yeah, he won that tournament.
Yeah. You might want to wait a few more years just to be...
Well, oh man, he had the statement, which is, like, when I'm sparring, I have to spar like I'm fighting God. I cannot make mistakes. Because he basically got to the point where no one was good enough to beat him anymore. And so he had... His goal was to fight perfectly. Like, he couldn't make mistakes fighting you.
Yeah.
For him to feel like he won.
You can see
like
that.
if you made him make a mistake or mess up, it was a win for you in some ways.
On, like, a very similar sort of note and like level of skill, Mewtwo King, the melee god.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of lame compared to like martial arts, but there's footage of him fighting someone and taking 0 damage, and the guy's like giving it his all, and he can't touch Mewtwo King. Yeah. And then Mewtwo King switches to the worst character in the game and almost still wins without taking damage, but he takes like a tiny bit of damage, and the crowd erupts for the guy that did like 2 damage to him. They're like,
or the best player in the world at StarCraft.
Yeah,
like he beat the other players with chopsticks or something, like the second best with chopsticks. And then like another thing is like the next 3 best players in the world fought him. And he won.
Yeah, there's some people out there, that are just way too good at
the best kendo guy in the world. It's like kendo tournaments now. It might have changed, but for a while it was, I want second place.
Yeah,
I'll be like, if I get second place, I am the second best. Like the best guy is not reachable.
I keep talking about Smash Bros because, well, I mean, there's a patch coming out today.
Yeah, you're excited about it.
Yeah, but like MK Leo right now, if he enters a tournament, people fight for second place.
Oh, really?
Like, he is... Like, there's very few people that stand a chance against him, and they... Like, a tournament... I don't follow tournaments too closely, but, like, 2 tournaments back, which isn't useful because we want these to be kind of timeless. I think it was called Splash and Slip and Splash, something like that. Yeah. It was some sort of Hawaiian-themed one. Yeah. Someone did, like, it's called a Video Game Boot Camp Ultimate. And so they did a clip of, like, they break down the tournament into these well-edited things. Yeah. And basically they followed Samsora, who's one of the best players in the world, absolutely just, like, wrecking everyone else at the tournament, beating them all. Like, he's just winning everything, single thing. They're not even touching him. And then it gets to the finals, and it's Samsora versus MK Leo. Yeah. MK Leo wins 3-0. Like, just, like, boom, super fast. It's like Samsora was better than everyone there. Fights MK Leo, loses by a landslide. Like, and like Mars took 1 set from him recently, which with Captain Falcon, and it wasn't even that, like, Mars is amazing, but I think the reason he was able to do that is because neither of them knew what they were doing, because it's like, wait, how do you fight Captain Falcon at top level? And Mars is like, how do you play Captain Falcon at top level? Yeah. And so it's there's that sort of, like, I bet he's a much better Captain Falcon than me, obviously. Yeah. But they're both kind of like, whoa, this isn't meant to be here. What are we... I think, like, at that point, go switch to Ganondorf and just hope for the best.
Yeah, no, that's what you should do against MK Leo, is just play Ganondorf. Yeah. See how he reacts.
But then if, like...
What does he mean?
MK Leo, Joker now. Ah. Which, I think Joker probably does really well against Ganondorf, actually. Maybe. Because Joker's pretty quick.
Maybe pick Bowser.
Yeah. I don't... yeah, maybe Bowser.
Overwhelming super armor.
Yeah. It's
pick the anti-air character. There should just be a Smash character who's just like sitting in an anti-air gun, and just if you jump while fighting them, you're screwed. Like they auto-target air and just shoot.
You mean Jigglypuff? Yeah, but not quite Jigglypuff.
Or Sonic, just...
Yeah. He's like, I think Tweak and Mars are like, they're very good, but MKLeo right now is ridiculous. Yeah. Tweak has been winning all the tournaments he's gone to too, so maybe he can. I haven't seen them play that often. But...
Is MKLeo one of those people you want winning every turn, though?
Well, he seems like he's a cool enough dude. Yeah. But I think the reason he wins so much, and this is actually like, this is how you win at like anything in life. Mm-hmm. And like you read books called Infinite Jest, and they'd go into this tons and tons. Like the whole book is like part of it's based around the whole book. Part of it's based around this. Yeah. Like 100% of the book, 20% of the book's based on this.
That's appropriate for a fan jest.
Yeah. It's tennis. And how you win is like there's a player, he's the best, he's like a better player. Yeah. But if he makes a mistake, he starts making more mistakes. Yeah. And he gets upset very easily.
Tilted. It's called tilting.
Okay. So he gets tilted very easily then. Yeah. But the best player in Infinite Jest plays the same no matter what. If he's down a set, if he's up a set, if it's raining, if it's sunny, he plays identically. And so he has like basically the stamina to win. And MKLeo, like you see him play, he does not celebrate his victories, he does not mourn his losses, he just plays and he wins.
So he doesn't get tilted at all.
He's just like stone faced the whole time. Or someone like Esam. Apparently, I've heard people talking about playing against him. He'll be like, "Oh, you got a good one on me. Oh, dang it, you got me." Or like, "Oh, yeah, I got you." And like he's very talkative and like Esam is like, if he wasn't such a good loser, he would be a bad winner. Like he's basically, he celebrates everything. He celebrates his wins hugely, but he also like cheers his opponent on for beating him. So he's
Yeah, so where tilting comes from, I know, is in Dota. It's a long game. Like 40 minutes in a game, a video game, like it's not as long as some, but it's long by a lot of people's accounts. And so tilting is it's a team game. So you have 5 people on each team, and basically you need every single person doing their best for like one side to win a lot of the time. And there's games where you're like, oh, if we're losing, we're really behind. They're like pushing our high ground. And when I've played with my friends, when we get pushed high ground is usually when we win.
Yeah.
Unless like we're getting completely overwhelmed, because we now have the high ground, and these people are going to attack us and lose because they're trying to take a hill that we're defending. And once we take that, we've come back a lot.
I find in chess, like, so in piano, if I make one mistake, I make a ton of mistakes. If I don't make a mistake, I don't make any.
Yeah.
Obviously. But if I make one mistake, I'll suddenly make a bunch, basically. Yeah. Like, if there's a song I have a 50% chance to make one mistake on, I will either make 0 mistakes or I will make like 10.
Yeah.
Basically, even though there was only 50% chance for me to make one mistake. But in chess, I find, and I think this is interesting, if I'm losing in chess, I suddenly don't care as much about my pieces and I don't worry as much about what I'm doing. And so I play way better when I'm losing for some reason. Like, I normally lose because I'm losing, but I start playing way better and I bring it back.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I'm not worried about my moves as much, and I'm actually not second-guessing myself and just making better moves.
Yeah, so back with the Dota thing, so I'm like playing with people I know. If our high ground starts getting pushed, we usually win after we like fight someone off. If I'm playing just with random people and I don't know, and we get pushed high ground, a lot of the time that like triggers people to give up, like, oh no, they're on their high ground, we can't win anymore, because my friends are on much higher level than what I get put into with the algorithm. So they don't even really know, like, oh, we can't come back from high ground. They're so far ahead of us. Like, I'm just going, like, we're dead. Like, oh, please end the game. Like, just destroy everything, end the game. Or, like, at some points, they, like, get so mad. It's like, this team's useless I'm playing with. They'll run out into the enemy and get killed to give them money, basically, like, start feeding. So that's tilting. It's basically, like, a point where you, like, get so upset at the game, you start giving up. But there's another kind of tilting can happen where, let's say, like, your enemy's pushing you high ground, they're so cocky, they go into your fountain to try to kill you. And it's like, alright, I don't know what you're doing, but you can't win here. And you beat them in the fountain, and then you get a bunch of gold, and they're like, oh, that was just one mistake. And they go into the fountain again, and they die. And so it's like, oh, basically like, over, like, oh, I'm so good, I can do this. Okay, I made a mistake, but I can still beat them. And so there's like, that's also tilting. But it's basically, and like, there's goals, basically sometimes in games to tilt your opponent. Like, they're not fun people to play with or against, but like they're just trying to be annoying on purpose. Like they'll hunt down one person specifically and target them relentlessly. It's like, I'm always getting killed by this guy, and you make them mad on purpose. Like though it actually has a psychological sense to it.
Like someone like Mars, I think you could definitely like I think in my opinion, he's probably like second or third best player in the world. I think if you taunted him a bunch while fighting, he would probably like, it'd make him a lot more reckless. Like he definitely seems to like get. It doesn't look like Smash Bros is good for him actually. Yeah. Like it's not that he's like a poor sport. He seems like he's like he's on the edge of being a poor sport, but he's not. But even after he wins, he looks out of breath. Like I think it's for his health. He shouldn't play the game. He's like, but he plays such a hard character.
Well, there's like these things like a lot of pro players aren't tiltable. Yeah. Like that's a huge thing that a lot of pro players do, and like they don't get tilted.
Like you hear about basketball players and hockey players, and they're just like, I was just in the game, you know, in the flow of just...
Yeah, so like pro Dota players, they don't get tilted. But there's a few guys who are incredibly good, but it's like, we can tilt this guy. And so those teams mess up because one of their players is tiltable. Or it's like, what were you doing? Oh, it's just off there. Like, there's some teams which can play really amazingly or they can be off. And so it's like, will they win? I'm not sure. Sometimes these guys are amazing, sometimes they're off. But yeah, it's very much like tilting's what I learned from Dota, because like you get invested in like even a small game. And it's like, oh, we're losing. And then you get mad and you make more and more mistakes, or like a stupid game, and you start becoming more reckless and you get angry at your teammates. And my group of people I play with, we used to like play with a much larger group. And we slowly sort of pruned it. Because some people are like, we just don't like playing with this person. Like, if we start losing, they get super mad at us. They start playing worse. It's not fun playing with them. And so we describe them as super tiltable. Or it's like saying they get salty or whatever. Like, you don't want to play with those people, almost. Sash is the opposite getting tilted, though. Like, one of my friends. He, like, if he starts losing... Like, know that whole thing about you said, like, go super quiet? It's kind of bad because it's a team game that needs communication. But if, like, we're losing, he goes super quiet, and he starts playing like a god. Like, his reactions are on spot, he's really good, it's just, like, playing super well, but he stops communicating. And so it's like, alright, he's gone to that mode. Everyone, just surround him and keep him alive, because he's gone, like, into the zone of, I have to win this. And so it's like, just protect him! Like, there's so many games we've played where it's like, keep him alive. Like, no one Ender's game where, like, they froze the ball around Ender so they could all drift forwards, basically, and get to the end. That's basically us a lot of time playing around him. It's like, make sure he lives so we can push through. Like, make sure he lives so we can kill people. They're doing too much damage to him. He's getting stuns. Alright, I'll use his ability, switch places with him so I die instead. You heal him up. And it's like, body block. Like, a huge part of the game, which isn't at the lower end levels, but if someone's getting chased, there is body blocking. And it can get you killed a lot of the time. It's like, we have to body block so we can escape and regen enough mana so we can come back into the fight. There's like, there's one game I remember is very particular where it's like, as a hero that can charge and stun. And so the fights very much consisted of, alright, who's fighting him right now that's dealing too much damage? Okay, this person. I'm going to stun them. And then I'm going to just focus on keeping him alive. That's it. And it's actually a lot funner game when you're playing as a team. I mean, that's true with a lot of games, but instead of like, oh, I'm trying to individually do my best. Like, trying to keep him alive is a lot of fun. Because, like, you're no longer like, oh, I killed this guy, and I killed this guy, I killed this guy. It's like, I kept him alive, I healed him, I did a bit of damage here so he could get the kill sort of thing. Like, setting it up. Like, you know, in basketball, like, when you set up a good play and then, like, they get the score?
Yeah.
Like, it might not be as much glory for you, but it's like, it's more of a game than, like, you actually feel like you're playing the game right when you're playing as a team. Those are Dota games I like playing. Someone actually made an interesting statement, which makes Dota sound unhealthy if you're playing it in solo queue, which a lot of people do, which is, this is one of those 1 in 10 games you play where you're with a group of people who communicate and can play as a team, and it's a lot of fun. And then the rest is just horrible garbage you have to slog through. And it's like, this guy should get a consistent group of people to play with. Because, like, a lot of my games are, like, a lot of fun working together. That was a great game, actually, though, for a solo. It's just we all communicated and worked together and, like, fought through and won. I don't know, Dota's fun sometimes when you just meet, like, a random group of people and play and you get through and win, like, a hard game.
Yeah, but if you meet someone who plays Dota, then you... Oh.
Listening to them talking, just go quiet.
If they start going, they never stop.
You can stop me at any point.
Well, you know, you're just so excited. I don't...
You don't want to destroy the chair of joy in my voice.
Yeah.
And just slam me with the hammer of reality that is boring. Dear God. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die here.
Dota is like almost an abstract game. It's like someone saying how excited they are about Go or something, where it's like, and I surrounded them, and it's like, I surrounded their pieces and I like put the thing in the center and I got an Atari and I did, and you're just like, okay, I don't know what any of this means and I can't relate it to my life in any way, but it sounds very fun.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, I do think, like, you know, it's good that you have a lot of fun games and
yeah,
and that's good, and I'm happy for you. And
shut up,
and
please, God, shut up.
And I
come down here and now.
There are those people that like just shine brighter when they're put under pressure, and I think that's cool to watch too. And
now you know how I feel slightly when you talk about Smash Bros.
But the thing about Smash Bros is it's kind of similar to martial arts where everyone can relate because it is motion and movement.
Yeah.
It's not just little discs moving around with lights coming out of them.
Yeah.
But
There's
So see, so one of our discs, when he gets angry, he's like, he can click really good. And so the other discs surround him. And I spent one game making my disc stop the other guy's disc from moving. And and it was...
Oh, dear. Okay, I understand.
I mean, you can reduce anything to that sort of thing.
I know.
So it's not really fair of me to say.
Well,
and I thought some of it was interesting. I don't want to like stomp on your
parade.
Well,
you don't want to rain on my parade. You just want to drizzle.
Well, no, just a little bit. Yeah, just a bit of rain, not stomping though. You know.
Yeah, just a bit of rain.
I just want to make you feel bad, but not so bad that you don't invite me back.
Yeah.
Just enough that you like resentment grows in you, but it's never enough resentment to actually make you do anything.
Yeah.
It's just like you become a worse person over time as it like builds in you, but you can never express it because I never actually cross the line. I just press against it constantly.
And then you make it so my line moves further and further as well.
Well, that's good for you, I think. But no, I try to keep you on at the same line, but just like make this like dark, like you feel like you're hollowed out because you're weaker every day because you put up with it, and you just become a shell of the man you once were, and you become afraid to talk to anyone about your interests because you're worried they'll mock you for them or something, and like you're like someone says, and then you start like saying, "What, Dota? No, that's stupid," and like you just like hide from society because you're such an outcast, and like.
That sounds like some evil character from a book. Well, they're like minorly evil. Like there's someone who would break into someone's house and steal an object that's not valuable but used.
Have you heard? It was like a comedian, I think. I don't know if this is a comedian. He was talking about a friend he had one time who would steal. So, like, everyone got drunk and at a party one day, and then afterwards, like, the pictures of the person's, like, grandparents disappeared on the walls.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, what's this about? And they're like, they never found them. It's like, what? And years later, he was at the friend's house. He's like, hey, I want to show you something. He said, what? And he went over to, like, his closet and, like, pushed stuff away, and he's like, look. And he had on the wall, like dozens of pictures of different people's grandparents on the wall. And he's like, I stole them all. And he's like, what? Why? He's like, because it's the one thing they can never replace.
Yeah,
it's just like the most
like this. So one thing I was thinking about, right? Like you need a level of observation at that point, but like not even like you could like just learn people, but like break into a house, right? Go into a child's bedroom, and steal their second favorite stuffy.
I don't know if that like
or like just.
I think like something like
or take a picture off the wall.
Yeah, but even like because grandparents, right? Because they might die and then you can never take another picture of them, and like Whereas like you take a picture of a kid away and you can take another one, and
or well then like a drawing on the fridge or something, or like a drawing that's been framed. Someone did. It's like an okay drawing.
No, what you do is you live in their house. And every time they like set the table and go to the bathroom afterwards or something, you put everything back, and so they think they're going insane. And
not doing that,
because I swear,
I might start.
There's like a goblin in the house because I keep putting plates on the table, and there's no plates on the table.
No. The thing you do,
I think I'm in a nightmare.
The thing you do is like it's kind of ruined with Steam and stuff. But what you could have once done is take a game cartridge or a disc and hide that.
Yeah.
In their house.
Oh, so they feel like they keep losing it?
Yeah. So it's not even gone permanently. It's just like, oh, there it is. So they can't play it for a while. Like you see, like the cartridge, like it's actively in place, right? But the cartridge, like in the game thing, like they've obviously been playing it. You take it out and you hide it.
I don't know if that bothered me too much.
No,
I tend to misplace that sort of stuff, anyways. So
what about Pokemon Stadium?
Well, like I don't know. Like I want to play it, but I'm like, okay, whatever. It's gone. Like so, it doesn't really bother me. It's just kind of.
Steal a pair of socks.
No, even like my
steal one sock.
My socks just vanish anyways. Yeah. No, it's like something that should be there but isn't. Like very obviously should be. Like I put a plate on the table. I went to get a knife and fork. I bring them over. There's no plate. I go to get a plate and there's no knife and fork. And it's like, am I mad?
One time it's like, oh, there's a plate already on the table, so I took your plate and you put the knife and fork down, so I took those. I only did that once though.
But this morning, I swear, I felt like I have dreams sometimes. Like I'm pretty sure in the dreams it just vanishes, but I might have vanished then. Like.
So should I just start leaving like doors open to the outside and?
I'm pretty sure like anything is possible, right? Like you know, the crazy random like events can happen, and I think they might have like concentrated to making plates disappear. Like all the luck in the universe was used up to drive me insane.
Wow, that's definitely self-centered. All the luck in the universe was used up to drive me insane. That's its own kind of insanity.
Or what if like it's even worse and I take the plate out and then I'm like, oh, I need a fork and knife. So I pick the plate back up off the table and put it in the drawer and then take the fork and knife.
I have done that.
Like if I'm doing that, then like I'm done already. Like
I have done that to myself.
Then I'm just demented at that point. Like, and maybe I'm doing that. Like
sometimes you just make mistakes.
It's just enough to like it's happened before. Like I don't know. It's enough to like destroy a person. Like that's how you get to them.
What is it? The Taming of the Shrew? They convince the guy who's insane?
Never read it.
No, that's the play. It was basically an experiment in limelighting.
Gaslighting?
Gaslighting, yeah.
Limelight is where like the brightest light on someone. And Gaslight is based on a movie?
Yeah, but you convince someone they're insane.
Yeah.
But that's Taming of the Shrew is basically they convince a guy he's insane. They convince him he's a king and a revolution's happening and he's in love with this one person and like they just do a bunch of horrible stuff to him.
Why don't they call it like the shooing someone?
No one knows why the name is Taming of the Shrew. That's one of the problems of the play.
Oh. Like you got shrewd.
Yeah, I once gaslit someone with a friend of mine. I convinced him he was colorblind.
Our mom does that. I swear, I'm like, my room is... I don't know anymore.
Colors.
I don't know. It's blue? Yeah. And she says it's green? Or do I say it's green and she says it's blue? I don't know anymore. I think it's blue.
I mean, it's kind of a cruel thing to do, gaslighting someone.
It's incredibly cruel. The only thing you have to like bind you in this world is your view of it. That's the only thing that makes reality real. And if that's not right, then nothing's real. And then
if you can, when others doubt you,
just start talking about Dota and it'll bore them to death.
What is it? Be certain yourself and make for their allowance for their doubting too. Whatever. I remember that.
Remember that line I don't remember.
Remember that line I misquoted horribly. And on that note,
it was if you can keep your head when those around you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah. If you can wait and not be made tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can
tremble along the road unspoken and not speak of thine pains, if you can walk the unbeaten path and be not wearied, all just the same.
It's pretty, but is it art? I look very wise, see? Wait,
yes.
Oh no, that's wrong. Dang it. I'm an idiot. There, now I'm wise.
Alright.
So you know Socrates, right? He went around and he would like say like to all the wisest people, and he says, I hear you're wise, and they're like, ah yes, and he's like, all right, what do you believe? And they'd say something. He's like, but what about this? And they're like, well, this. And he's like, oh, but then what about this? And they're like, well, I believe it because of this. Then why do you believe that thing though? Or like, and he would just like go around
people.
Yeah, he'd go around to all the wisest people and be like, you know nothing.
Yeah, and that's why Socrates got executed.
Yeah, it wasn't because he went against the state. It's because everyone found him insufferable. They're like, I hate this guy. He's such a know-it-all. Well, he's like a child that keeps asking why.
Let's leave it there.
And yeah, it's about time. Yeah. But why should we leave it there?
I'm hungry.
Why, you haven't eaten yet?
I have. I was planning to make pancakes after we were done.
Oh, well, I can keep going. I had pancakes already. All right, we'll end. All right. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.